Hello, good evening. How are you all doing today? We don't have a Zilby here. We don't need that CAD cam. Uh, feels like, what is this, the third evening stream? Feels good. I'm happy. I remembered this time not to log out of the computer this time. So we're like exactly where we were when I left off this morning, which is great. So I just had dinner. Now it's time to relax, do a little bit of more Rust SQLx code, and have fun with it. So, you know what? There's a closet behind me. I forgot I put the screen up. Zilby likes to jump up to the top, but he doesn't like to do that unless he can see me. And so he I put the screen up so he can actually hang out there and feel that he's not being locked into the closet. All right, let's take a look. Where were we here? Let's see. So we're in writing. Oh, I did update another article, so I need to do a poll, and we're doing SQLx CRUD. Okay, so went through our functions, our macros, the checked macros, the checked file macros, the unchecked macros, and next, okay. All right, so this being all said and done, the query as is the one we are going to use the most often. So inserting into the database. Okay. Let's maybe before inserting into database, we want to create sort of like setup, code setup. Did I install anything? Oh, right. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so going to begin with the with a basic setup similar to what we have in the similar to what we have in the query in the quick start guide. So the SQLx quick start. And we need to go find that. Okay. With everything in main.rs, our file looks like all right, let's go ahead and set this up. So we're going to start, I'll take everything out again and we'll add things back in. So, okay, we have Tokyo main, we have our .env unwrap, we get out our database URL, we create our PG pool options, max connections, connect that. So I need to import you. Tokyo, okay, so that's fine. And then I don't need to do any of you. You all go away. Okay, Did I miss anything? We're not using this pool yet, but that's fine. Okay. Let's also change some of these to expects. To expect dot env did not load. Let's see. Want you to be an expect. This is could not find database. Is there a way to make that window go away without exiting insert mode? I want to say there is. Hey. Okay, let me try. All right. I guess I didn't really reset things, let it go to sleep, and apparently decided to just the monitor went asleep and told the Mac that that monitor was no longer active. So that was cool. But we're back. All right, so I want a key for, I mean, is it key remapping? Special keys. No, it's, oh, key map. So normal mode, so in insert mode. So select extend mode, picker. I don't think it's a picker. Keys used within picker. So I don't think it's these. Oh, it's shift tab, control P. I kept on doing other ones. So it's control P and shift tab. Oh, it's control P, control N. Toggle preview, control T, control C to close the prompt, maybe? Oh yeah, control C to close the prompt. That works just fine. All right, so could not find database URL. All right, then we're going to expect you, and this is going to be error creating a database pool. All right, so here we go. Nice and simple. Hey, Zilby, want to come and say hi? Also, that's a bunch of your fur on the ground. All right, well, now we have a cat. That is a very not aligned. Okay, now I need to fix that camp. Nope, that's not it. That's closer. That's better. All right, let's see. What are we doing? Okay, so we're starting with this. So this is our main.rs. Oh, you're done already, Zilby? Wait, okay, you're not done. You just want to hang out over here. Yeah, I would try to show his face, but he's right in front of the light. Okay, so in our main.rs, our file looks like that. Okay, so let's create what do we want to like make this on? So I guess I'm making a games. So let's do for this for games. And I also probably want to remove all of these games too from here. So let's do a delete from games. Just delete everything. And that should be there. I should do another future lesson on joins too, but this is going to be simple stuff. So, okay. All right. So where are we going to put our all right. So for this scenario, we're going to be creating a games locker or a games API to store the games we own and or want to play. Our model is going to be pretty simple. We're going to have, let's actually make this required. So I'm gonna drop this table and recreate it. So drop table games. Okay, so we're gonna our model is gonna be pretty simple. Okay, so our model is going to be pretty simple. So let's create this in Rust. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do in models.rs I'm going to create a struct representing this table. The games table we are going to create. Okay, so we'll do abstract games, I guess like game. And we're going to have a pub ID. This will be a I32 and it's required. We want a name of the game and that's going to be a string and required. And then we want a platform owned on, and this will be we can make this an optional string. We'll derive debug And I think that's all we need for this. Oh, I need to probably create a lib.rs file and yeah, I guess we're still running this, so I'm gonna create a let's create a lib.rs file. Actually, no, we can call this directly from main, can't we? So if I just insert pub games, that makes you happy. So don't forget to mod this. Add a mod statement to the address file. Scott, hello, how are you doing today? You don't need to be pub. Okay. Well, that's fun. Basically public safety alert. Somebody basically do not approach a car if you see it, and bad things. Rough day, but you made it. Well, that's good to hear. Like, it's always good to make it through the rough days. So hopefully have a good night. Tomorrow will be a better day. I mean, it'll be Friday tomorrow, so that's always better, right? All right. We're working on before my phone yelled at me. Dude, we had, let's see. Oh, that really that broke my concentration here. Okay, so 22nd wedding anniversary tomorrow. Ooh, well, early congratulations. That's a good number. So, do you have anything fun planned? Don't forget to add a mod statement. Okay, so we're gonna mod that. So then finally, let's create an API file. So an api.rs file to hold, I guess like not an API file, a queries file. Where we'll, no, not really, but you got massages scheduled. Well, I mean, that sounds really good. Massages always sound good. So, I mean, already that sounds like a good day. All right. Let's create a queries.rs file where we'll, oh, Zilby did not like that alert. He booked it out of here. Where we'll create the queries to insert and get, I guess, like queries for the database. So queries.rs. That's next. So on source, the queries.rs, and we'll just do a mod queries. Okay, we can write all there. And then finally, last thing before we can write any queries, we need to, what do we need to do? We need to, well, we need to create the database. So create the table in the database. I have a Postgres database running in Docker, so I can connect into it using Docker exec. Docker. All right. So what is this command? I probably didn't want to fully quit out of that. Yeah, I wrote a task to make this faster because this is way too slow. Or did it crash? Hope I didn't crash my... Ooh. I think in my playing around, I may have broken my ZSHRC file. That's not cool. Hold on. I have a... Are you open? You are open. Let's do an emergency fix on this. So we can do... so it's all this stuff that I was playing around with for auto updating. That's not... It's really, really, really bad idea. I need more actual thoughts. Like very sysadmin of me to just try to write some quick dirt and dirty scripts to see if that would do anything. All right, so you didn't work, so I want to close you. Let's create another one. Are you better? Are you happier now? Okay, I'm getting new shells there. Oh, is it because it's Zellige and it's like running the same .zshrc still? Okay, can I pane close you? Ooh, new tab just like killed right away. Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, jump to another TTY. Well, I don't have so I can open up another terminal like this, and that's fine. Oh, let me try session detach that. Okay. And let's just like, I guess I could quit Alacrity, restart Alacrity. What? That's stupid. I detached the session. That should have... Okay. Well, that when I recreate that should... Oh, I could have resourced my RC. Yeah, that probably would have worked. But I wonder if like there was something weird because I was switching sessions and like I was set up my computer. I switched profiles on the computer. I wonder if that on a Mac caused problems with Zellige or Alacrity or both together. I don't know. Could have. But apparently that totally took out my Zellige. So that's not cool. All right, so this is, what are we working on? We are working on SQLx. So SQLx lesson. Well, that's sad. I lost all this stuff. Okay, so after this. All right. Before we can let's see. Preparing the database for coding. Before we can write our code to practice CRUD with SQLx, we need to start our Postgres server and set up a database. So need to save a lot more often, apparently. So that was not Helix's fault. I think that was Zellage's fault, or for some reason, I think I'm used to Tmux, because in Tmux, if you quit your shell, that doesn't lose the session. And you can connect into it. As long as you don't reboot, you're fine. So I sort of thought that that was what was going to happen if I detached with Zellage, but of course not. That feature isn't written yet in Zellage, so I think that's going to be one of the next major updates. So that's fun. All right, we'll start with this one. Before we can write our code to practice CRUD with SQLx, we need to start our Postgres server and set up a database. We can start the server with the command so I actually have this. We'll do docker run, and that should be it. Okay, so docker run that. And then connect to the database using SQL and create a table with the command so we can connect to the database using PSQL and create a table with the commands. So I guess I'll do ZSH again. All right, so do I have, you're still running, good. So we can do docker exec, I want to do -u Postgres. Can I do an H? There's a, is it -d for the database? It is -d for the database name. Okay, so -d for SQLx tutorial. So that drops me into here. And so if I don't have any tables because I dropped that table. So I want to drop into here. There we go. So then, okay. So here we're going to do create, let's do this all proper. Create table, games. I guess I'll do this as part of a separate thing. So for this, exercise, Cherie makes art. Sherry makes art. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. How is the stream? How was your stream? What were you working on today? Documentation. Also, stochastic guy. Hello. Also, how are you doing today? It was great. You were working on an Android app. Nice. So it's Kotlin, right? How is it? What's the Android app do? The better Owen. Hello. How are you doing today? And 404 not found. Hello. How's it going? It's going pretty good. You typically catch me in the morning streams, but it's nice evening surprise. Yeah, I changed. I went to part-time contract work, so I'm now able to do some evening streams too, along with my morning streams. So it's really nice. It's a pretty simple app that displays some restaurants, trying to learn navigation and adaptable layouts. Colin is correct. Learning compose as well. I've never done any Android applications, but I have done a few. Like I've helped some students who are doing some, and it seems like a really good like tool, really good system. I think the hardest part that most students ever had that I worked with was the Android developer toolkit, as opposed to the language itself. So that's pretty awesome. Well, technically it's a morning stream for you. Yeah. Oh, 1:30 in the morning. Well, good morning. Although usually at that point I still call it nighttime because I haven't been to sleep yet. But I'm an early riser. I wake up early and do an early morning stream, and then now I do an evening stream too. So, anyways, you had no idea that I was. Oh, yeah. Never mind. You're talking to someone else. For me, what we're working on here is I'm building a course for Axum and Rust. Axum is a backend framework. So if you're familiar with Node.js, it's like Express, or with Python, it would be like Flask. And it's specifically what we're working on right now is database type stuff. So we're going to be using something called SQLx, which is a library that allows us to write SQL commands, actually like real SQL commands, send it over to the database. They'll be checked statically at compile time to make sure they're correct, and then run all that stuff. And I got into a minor setback when I accidentally, something happened, and then I lost some work. That's what we've done so far. So that part's not too fun. And I scared my cat away when an alert came on my phone. So that's also fun. You're doing well, but trying to sign up for a cloud provider to host your app, and you've managed to trigger the fraud systems for both DigitalOcean and Linode. Weird, no idea what you're doing wrong. You periodically. I've seen that before, where like it's taken me like 10 times to get through the little like are you a robot system things. I've never really understood how those are working. I've always just felt that they're just trying to use us to train AI, and that's what's going on. And maybe they just want more people training their AI. You're taking a database class right now. Awesome. What database are you using, or are you learning? This specifically is going to be Postgres. Static checking of SQL statements and compile time sounds super interesting. Yeah, and if you're familiar with Rust, it's a very strong type system. So we found a way to kind of sort of trick it into like a problem where eventually we can get an error at runtime. But regardless, you get an error eventually. It won't just let you do whatever you want. So that helps. Oh, we use Firefox's anti-fingerprinting mode. Everyone thinks that you're a fraudster. I have Firefox on, although I've been checking out Arc recently. And so I guess it doesn't have because it's Chromium, it doesn't have a lot of the anti stuff. Not a robot prompt. This is a account verification and admin lockout until one of those. Then got an email that your signup got canceled and email address blocked. Oh, that's not good. Well, that's not good at all. That kind of sucks. Hopefully you can get that resolved pretty quickly. Makes sense. You're not overly familiar with Rust outside of evaluating it a few times, but you do work with strongly typed languages a fair bit. And it's always interesting to see how they handle SQL integration. So this one is really interesting. I don't have any like written right this second, but I can show you the quick start guide, and then I'll be obviously getting into it a little bit later. That's not the quick start. This is the quick start. So basically the idea here is you can just write your SQL directly in. It's still parameterized, so it helps with SQL injection attacks. Although I haven't tested that fully yet. So I should probably do that to like verify that what they claim actually happens. But yeah, then you could just run your query as that. You get it out. Now in this case, there's a little bit of magic happening to bind it and tell it exactly what type it expects out as, and it sort of just works. Yeah, one time I was a systems administrator for a few years, and I decided at one point in time to set up my own email server on my own computer, just because I thought that would be fun. And I sent one email with it and immediately received an email from my ISP saying you are blacklisted for having like an email server that's like not a good one. And it was like, oh shit, that's not good. So I immediately responded going like, I'm a sysadmin, I'm playing around, please don't blackmail me. And they like, okay, fine. And then they whitelisted my account again. But they could do that quickly. And nowadays they automatically do it. Like it's just instantaneous. And they may or may not have an easy email address to contact. All right. I have a local Postgres database running on Docker. We've connected into it with PSQL. So I figure we're going to create a games sort of library as the example here. So I'm going to do create table games. I want, is it parentheses for this? I always forget. I think it's parentheses for this. So then we're going to have ID. I want that to be a sequence. Primary key, and that should be good for that one. I want the name. That's going to be a varchar 255 not null. And then I want a platform, which is going to be a varchar 255, and then I will allow this to be null. Oh, it's not sequence. It's it's something similar to that. I literally just had it not what is it? It's like in my mind I get the two confused a lot. Manbrave GG making a Rust guide. Don't forget to say this guide is not the opinion of the official Rust Foundation. Well, that's fine. No, Serial, that's what it is. Thank you, Danny Fritz. Also, Danny, it's been forever. We haven't seen you on for a while. How are you doing today? There we go. It is that. So now we can take a look at games, and that's okay. Let me full screen that. That looks terrible. Okay, fine. I'm gonna DS games. There we go. Okay. So we have our ID, integer, not null, name, and platform. Okay, so everything's good. Everything looks fine there. Then you're basically doing stuff on the house 100% of the time. Oh, that's cool. Shuri, am I pronouncing that? Is it Sherry or Shuri? Have to head out, but have a wonderful stream. Good luck with making the course. Thank you so much. And thanks again for the raid. And have a wonderful night, morning, evening, lunch, whatever time zone it is for you. But you see Brave, Zealage, Helix. I don't know if I don't have Brave. I have Firefox. But yes, we have Alacrity, Zealage, Helix. We are very much living very cutting edge here. We ran into a bug earlier, which then lost some work, which was fine. I got remember to save often. Firefox is normal and very cool. Yes, I fully agree with that. Okay, so did I lose this? Let me go find. There's our create table. So I'm gonna grab you. Okay, so SQLx allows us to run SQL. Oh, here it is. So I want to do that. So then I'm gonna throw in create table games. Okay, so let's move this up there. So for this exercise, let's create a table that will store games that we own and want to play. We'll use the following model. Do I want to use like a table? I could use a table. It's Markdown. I just have to remember tables. I think it's horizontal bar and then the name. So we have column, type. I think that would be it. Oh, and then maybe primary key. So primary key, column type. There's a trailing one too, right? So let me do that. Wait, do I have to have things in the middle? I don't remember anymore. Now I don't forget. Now I don't remember this. Okay, so primary key. So we're gonna have star for the primary key. Column is gonna be ID, and then the type is gonna be, I guess serial int. Just an int. And then we'll do that skips. Column will be name. And that will be a varchar 255. Ooh, we should add in required. So what is that? Nullable. How's the LMS project coming along? So I finished the LMS project, or at least I finished the MVP of it. Yeah, minimal viable product, MVP. So now I'm working on the core, like the first course itself. So which is an Axum course. But of course, part of Axum is database. So now this is specifically just database stuff. All right, so we have that nullable. So this is not null. This will do not null. And then final one, we'll do platform. This will be a varchar 255. This is nullable, so we'll leave that like that. There is a way, and I consistently forget how to do it, where I could say I want to search for bar. And then I want to align, which I always forget how to do. Let's align sections, move the cursor, place. It's ampersand. There we go. That works as desired. Okay, so I mean, pretty close. To make it like really nice, I could up with here, so then look like that. You'd go to there and then there. Okay, perfect. I don't remember. So do I need in tables? Do I need something like that? I don't remember anymore. I might. You're unhappy with this. Oh, because I don't. Okay. I think I've done that correctly. I don't know. It turned red, which I don't know if that means good or bad. Can I do a quick demo? Oh yeah, absolutely. To me, like this is all like that's all part of like hype marketing anyways. So let's see if I can go to learning brooksbuilds.com. So this is up live right now. And so if we go to courses, I'm showing this beta Axum 0.16 live course as the one. I'm actually thinking after today, I might do a to get one like going a little bit sooner. I might do a cheaper, smaller one as opposed to like the full Axum one, just for SQLx, because it does feel like a really interesting technology, and I think we can do like a 1 or 2 day sort of crash course on it, which could be a lot of fun. So if we go into this, you can preview what I have on a course right now. I have everything sort of marked as preview as it is, so you can just go in and take a look at them. I learned better ways of doing the videos. That's a lovely image, but if you click on this, it actually takes you to YouTube that will play the appropriate thing. So every lesson is going to have a every lesson's going to have a video. Every lesson's going to have an article in Markdown, and I'm going to have the ability to see you going through it and like where people are getting stuck. Now I have to sort of like look that up in a database manually. I don't have any like good GUI ways so far, but eventually I'll like be able to add those in. But like MVP is just basically the basics of it. The way I get the speed, so it's made in u.rs. It's loading all the data at first load, which there isn't very much right now, so that's still super fast. And then you're just going through it, not having to make any more requests to the back end. So it's all cached in the browser, which is really, really fast. And then I have assessments in here too. So these are assessments in GitHub, and it's still like self-graded, but you run the tests and you sort of like see, hey, did I do it right or not? For a large site, will this method hinder first paint? It depends, because the courses are like all the images and everything else is not actually part of like data that you have to download. It's all just text. That's still just super, super, super fast. And generally speaking, if you're one of my early adopters, you're most likely finding me through YouTube or through Twitch, which means that you have a good enough internet connection to watch videos live, which means you have a good internet connection. These are going to load really fast. In the future, I might have to change that up and deal with that. But that's, that's in the future that I have to worry about. Your instructors had automated tests before we submitted our work. Yeah, it's super nice to have. And so we've actually created a whole bunch of them. And the full plan is here. I'm still working on, like, there's so many of these to work on, which is another reason why I'm thinking of just doing running through the words, the database stuff with SQLx. So basically all of these long ones, these are assessments that I've created, and they're all fully tested in Rust. And so they'll test the lessons that you learn. So I actually have test stuff over here. Initially, the plan was to do CRM. CRM is not very popular though, even though I know it. So I'm switching over to SQLx. Diesel has the most searches on Google. SQLx has the most searches in YouTube, which is really interesting difference there. But yeah, this is the very, very basic LMS that I have. And these are how I'm actually creating the articles themselves. They're just markdown files. Eventually, I'll be able to eventually I'm going to have to write my own markdown markdown compiler, interpreter, to be able to put like assessments directly inside of it, which one of my mentors was telling me how to do. It's apparently fairly easy. It just is like a little bit of time, and it's not my like number one thing to focus on right now. Chunky Lover, hello. How are you doing today? Oh, SQLx is also a library in Golang. Yes, absolutely true. And here's what's really fun. SQLx is library in Golang. I've been told that SQLc is the library in Golang that's now the one that's like taken over. That's the one that you use in Golang. SQLx in Rust is modeled after SQLc in Go to make it really easy. Okay, so this creates the table. Okay, so we create the table. All right, so next. All right. Next, let's set up main. Now, in a previous lesson, we finished up this morning and we did yesterday, which was connecting it to the database. So the idea is that you've already done that lesson before you do this one. So let's set up main to connect to the database. So I want to, okay, did I lose my cargo temp? I may have lost my cargo temp. I want to go to cache. Temp. Oh, it's still here. Okay, still here, and I haven't lost anything. All this we still have. All right, so I want basically everything. I want all of these things. All right, so all of this was done in a previous lesson, but this is just to remind us, okay, this is where we are. I like to create a models file. So let's do a models.rs file to, I guess like store the shape of the data that matches the table. So we'll do this next. Let's go over to model. Do I have not? I have source games. Oh, I named that games. That's not right. Let's make that models. And we'll change you from games to models. There we go. Okay, so we have our game with an ID that's an I32. We have the name that's a string, and we have, it's not platform owned on, this is just platform, and that's an option string. Let me update that too. Okay, so we have that. Next, finally, let's create a file to store the queries for the games table. I'll create a let's create a file named queries to store the queries for the games table. So I don't need all of that stuff. Okay, so, and I have that. So queries, and then this is just in there. And then don't forget to add mod. Don't forget to mod in the models and queries files in the main.rs. Okay, there we go. Now we're finally ready to go. So, inserting into the database. So, SQL. So I already kind of ran all this stuff up. Up here, we talked about all the different methods that we can do to then run it. So this is going to be much more simple than what this sort of shows. All right, so inserting into the database to how do I want to do this? Let's actually just write it first, and we'll figure it out. So queries, we'll have an async, a pub async function, maybe insert game. we need to take in a pool, which is going to be a reference to that pool, which is actually, yeah, it's going to be a pool with Postgres there. And then I also need a game, which is going to be a game. Let's, we probably want to return an actual real error. I like to use error, and throughout the course, I've been using error. So let's install that. So okay. So I lied. One more thing to do. Then now it's finally, let's install an error handling library to make to allow us to use question mark everywhere. Everywhere easily. I prefer error. But anything, but another error handling library like anyhow. Let's go find that. Works just as well. Okay, so this will be Sage. All right, so over here, I'm going to, okay, so I'm opened up in here. We can do a cargo add error. Actually, no, I didn't have that in there already, so good to go. So I want to do cargo add error, and then that adds all that stuff. There we go. Okay. Now we're ready to go. Okay, so inserting into the database. All right, so queries. We're going to insert game, pull Postgres game. We're going to turn a result, which is going to be an right. I keep on forgetting I can't actually do anything until I restart the LSP. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to turn a result, which is going to be an error result. And in this case, 99% of the times, whenever I insert something, I want to get the ID back, but I don't care about anything else. I just want the ID back. So I'm going to put an I32 back, which is going to be the game ID. I think that'll work. So if we do something like that, then we want to, so we have a game here. We're going to want to say SQLx query as, we're going to use the macro, and then it's going to be insert into games. Now I should just look this up. I remember the multiple insert, and I don't remember the exact syntax for single. I don't think you have to have values, right? Like it's gonna be something super simple, and I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, of course, that's stupid. How could I forget that? So it's gonna be insert into table. Wait, no, I want to go to the actual. So it's insert into table, parentheses column name. So basically it's going to be insert into games. We want name and I want name and what is it called? Platform. And then it's the next thing. So there's values, and that's if there's multiple of them. Is it just value? It's not overwriting values. Okay, let's go find examples. Reading that top level documentation, I always try to do it because I'm trying to like get better at reading that, but it's like it's like blah. I don't like it. I get there. So there. Okay, so you insert into films. Oh, but that's like select some from someplace else. So they're using values even if it's only one thing. And they're not using that when they're doing like a select from something else. Okay, we'll just use values then. That makes me feel better about myself. Values, and then in here, so we want $1 for name and $2 for platform, and then don't forget the semicolon. And then part of query as, so, oh, and then we can't forget, we want a returning. Oh, and I've forgotten the big thing. I am returning an I32. So, and then this, oh, returning ID. Then I want to put in the game. So the name is going to be game.name, and the platform is going to be game.platform. We are going to, it can't be execute. I think it's going to be fetch 1. So it's going to be fetch 1, which gets 1 and only 1. We're going to put in the pool. We await, and we question mark. And then I need to let our result equals to that. Okay. So this is actually going to be the new game ID. And then I want to return that down here. So new game ID. What are you? Oh, because it's okay. So it's not going to come out exactly like this. It's going to be, ooh, what do you come out as? Let me try query. Oh, query is better. Query for inserts, and it's just it figures it out. Okay. I don't need this. Query as, for everything else, for inserts and something where I have just something simple back, it's going to be query. And then that gives me this record back. And so we can take a look at what you are. So record.id. So that's what it is. You are an object with an ID in it. If I wanted to use query, oh, okay, so I could use query. Can I use query as and give it an anonymous struct here? Let's find out. Can I do something like I want anonymous with an ID I32? I can't do that. I was really hoping I could do that, but I can't do that. So we'll do query. That gives me a record. The record is an anonymous struct with an ID on it. And if we debug what this is, new game ID. Okay, so you're going to be happy. Where did I get this lock result? Okay, so you're happy there. Let's go back to main. Let's create a new game. So let our let's see. In my off time mode, like every once in a while I've been allowing myself to play a little bit of Starfield. So let's play some Starfield. Starfield equals we have a game which has a oh, I don't know what the ID is, so I can't actually. Let's change this. I want you to be an option. Because I don't know what you are yet. Okay, so an ID is going to be a none. We have a name is going to be Starfield. To own that. And platform is going to be, I'll just do Steam. Okay, and then I want to run that. So that's going to be our, we're going to do queries, insert game, hand it a reference to the pool, and then hand it the game, which is Starfield. We then have to await this, and we can expect you. So this is error inserting Starfield into the database. And then we're going to get back. So let, well, we can actually, I can overwrite this game, can't I? So we can do, let's try this. I'm getting the I32 back. I changed my mind. For this queries, let's return the game. So I get the new game ID. I gave ownership. Can I give? Oh, expected reference a stir. Interesting. So it was fine with this being owned like that. I could clone them because they are strings, so I can clone it out. Can I do that? That's interesting. Okay. Then I want to, so I'm, okay, we're going to take a look at the new game ID, but we know that we're going to take this game. I want, do I want to make you mutable? I might make you mutable. I'm going to say game.id is now going to be some new game ID. And then we're going to return the game. I suppose I could clone the game too, right at the beginning. It's not new game ID, it's new game ID dot ID. Yeah, I don't like this mute here. So what I probably want to do is do something like let created game equals game.clone. which I don't think I derived clone, did I? Okay, so I need that there. So let's go. Let's go find you. All right, so first of all, we're going to make you an option here. Put clone on you. Okay, so I like to store the shape of the data that matches the table. Okay, so we're making the ID an option despite being required in the database, so that we can use the model when creating a new game. Okay, so there we have that. Back to queries. Okay, so we clone create game. This needs to be mutable. We then, this doesn't become game ID. This is going to be create game, created game, created game.id equals to that, and then we're going to return created game. Okay. So to separate this out a little bit. Oh, hey, Zilby's here. Zilby, hi. Well, he might lie down. Let's see. Okay, so created game. Okay, so I think we're good to go here. We're gonna debug that out. We're gonna get. Wait, are you? Okay, Zilby's done. And I think that's it. So let's run this and make sure it runs. So we're gonna do a cargo run just one time. Mismatch types. Platform, Steam, found. Oh, right. It needs to be an option. So in main here, you need to be an option. Sum. And that's it. Okay. Then we're taking this game here, and then I could debug out what our game is now at this point. Starfield, like that. All right, this should work. There we go. Okay, so we have our new game ID equals record. Okay, so this is what we got back. The record is an anonymous struct that, I mean, I guess it's like this named record struct, but it's created inside of the macro. So we don't really like, it's really hard for us to see in it. It's very dynamic. Like whatever we're saying we're getting back, it sort of creates it at that moment. So that gets it. We get the ID back. Now the Starfield game, I then throw the ID in here. So now we have the ID, and then I return that back out. And so there we go. Okay, so that's inserting. So we want to write that inside of here. So insert it into the database. Okay, so let's start by creating the object that we want to insert into the database. In main, we'll create a new game. Object. So we'll create a game. We want to insert into the database. Okay, so I'll just do this right here. So by creating the object, we want to do this narrative. I'm creating this at the bottom of the main function. Actually, don't need that. I can go there. And we'll grab you like that. There we go. Okay. All right. So now that we have this game, so next, let's move over to the queries.rs file and create the insert game function. We'll need a reference to the pool, and so we'll need to take in. So we'll need to take a reference to the pool and the game as arguments. Since the query can fail, we'll return a result using our error handling library. Since we have a game model with the ID as since we have a game model with the ID as a as an option, we can clone it and we'll add the ID from the database. We'll add the ID database in before turning it at the end. Here's where we're starting. Here's the queries file so far. Now, we'll take you, and I'll copy everything, but we're going to remove some stuff. So we're going to remove all of this. We're basically going to have that, right? So we have error results. We have our pool and Postgres coming in. We are also using let's match this. Puppies can function insert game. We have the pool. We have the game. We're going to return the game. Let's go ahead and clone. So going back and forth with this, I don't want to make it mutable up here though, but like it kind of also makes sense. So in this case, yeah, that can just work like that. So changing this around. We can do that. Game.platform.clone. Okay, so that's fine. Fetch one. Okay, so debugging that. And so instead of created game ID, this will now be game.id and then yeah. Okay. The next step is to actually like write the query. So write the query to insert the game into the database and get the ID back. The raw SQL for this would be inserts into, actually, let's do this all in a new line. So that way I can get colors. Insert into games. Name, platform, values. And so we already have the other one, right? So it's going to be just, can you do parameterization in like raw SQL like this? I don't remember if you can like in the actual SQL. I think that's just in the code, right? Values, and that's going to be star field and Steam. Star Wars Empire War. Okay, we'll add that as the next one. Okay, and then values. Oh, and then I want to returning ID. Okay. Since we don't have a type, like a specific type that we're getting back, we'll use the query macro to run this SQL. Ooh, no, to query macro run this SQL. To run this SQL. Okay. We'll also use the fetch one. So fetch one method to because we are getting exactly one thing back from the database. Okay, so okay, so then this will be Rust. All right, so here we go. New game ID, and we're gonna run this. Okay, so that gives us, we've now run the query and we get the new game ID, which is a record. So new game ID is a record type, which is dynamically created. So which will hold whatever returning values we've asked for. In this case, the record looks like it's not really JSON. I guess I could do Rust and like create it like this. So we'll do struct record pub ID i32. However, this the values of the record will change based on what, let's see, hold whatever returning values. In this case, record looks like this. So like maybe more be aware. So be aware that the macro, the query macro, will change the shape of the record to match whatever is being returned by the database. Okay, there we go. So we have that. What's left is for us to, okay, so all we need to do now is set the ID of the game. Game, now that we have it. So let's see then. Okay. And we're done with this query. Here's what the full file looks like now. I guess like here's what the full, maybe like here's what the full query looks like. Here's like the full insert game. Here's what the full function looks like now. I'm a really big believer of like very often showing the full code in these tutorials. Whenever I follow these, I get lost so easily. And it's like, okay, I didn't know, like, I thought I was inserting to this file, but now we're inserting to like another file and I have no idea where in the code we're doing. So like, I'm a big fan of like, just, let's just make them longer with more full code examples. I think that'll be easier to follow. I hope that it's not going to just overwhelm people with too much code, but that's why we're going to do a test with it. That's also why we do videos with them too. Okay, so that's it. And then, okay, so we're done with that. Let's run the query from the main file and pass in the reference to the pool. And the game. Then we can print out the resulting game, so the returning game, and see the ID that it got in the database. Okay, so I don't want to do that. Go to main, and here we do that. And there we go. Okay, and then finally, I can run this. So we'll do that one. Actually, I do need to go therefore, and we'll do this. So cargo run with that. And I'll grab all of those. Okay, so cargo run, we compile, and then it finishes. Okay, so running does its thing. We get the record 1. And, oh, queries. Let's remove this one because I didn't show that we had it. And there we go with you. Okay. So we've added this. And then finally, let's we can add let's add one more game so that we can see let's add one more game so we can have multiple games to get later in the get all query. So just one more. So we have Starfield. So since we add a game every time you run the code, let's change the Starfield game to another one. Okay, so I'll just change this to do I want to call it game? I think I could just call it game. So we'll call this game. Insert game. Oh, we don't change it. So game, ID none. Okay, so in this case, let's do Danny. You had a suggestion. We're gonna do Star Wars. Star Wars Empire at War. I don't think I ever played that game. I could do this as a none. Yeah, I think I own it, but I never played it. Let's make that a none, since I guess like technically I own it. So we'll do platform some Steam. Owned. Okay, so we have you. We have our game. Let's insert game, and then I don't really need the debug here. As long as it runs, we know what happened. Okay, I actually don't need to take this back. Okay, so we run this again. So I'll just we'll do that one. And cargo run there. Perfect. Okay. So there we go. We've added, that's insert. We've added 2 games in. Perfect. So the next part's in. We're gonna get one. That will use the query as macro. So we're gonna have get one. We're gonna have get many. We're gonna have update. And we're gonna have delete. Then we'll have a conclusion. So, all right. This is looking pretty good. I am gonna call it a night now though, because it is 7:40. Usually I do these evening streams until around 7:30 my time here. So that way I can get ready for bed and head to bed. I go to bed early so I can wake up early. So let's go ahead and save this off. So we added create section. And all right, push that up. And you're all saved here. And I want to remove that to delete. So that way I don't accidentally delete this when I, quit and close out everything tonight. Perfect. So tomorrow morning, I'll be continuing writing the lesson. So usually what I do, I go through, I write the lesson fully. We review it, make sure that it's all good, and then I'll record a video on it. This video is probably going to be pretty beefy. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to record it tomorrow morning. I might be able to record it tomorrow evening, though. So my streams, let's see, tomorrow morning, starting at 7 a.m. Mountain Time until 8:30 a.m. That's when I'll be streaming next. And then also again tomorrow at 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. So same as today. And that's it. That's what I've got. Any questions, comments, thoughts before I head out? Well, in that case, everybody have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all next time. Bye.